Hello to the second part of this tutorial. So what I'm going to continue doing here is trying or testing my character. So Freddy is walking around the world and that's it. Like that's the only thing it does. Walk around and stops. And whenever he stops, he's doing an idle animation. As you can see, the idle is really slow, but he's doing something, right? He's just like reading and staying in there. All right. So there's a couple of things that I want to add in this point. So first of all, what I'm going to be doing is I will be breaking the animation for the jump. Jump is going to be divided in three parts. So I have jump. I'm going to say Control D to duplicate that. So this is going to be jump start. And then jump start is going to effectively run from frame 0 to frame 13. So I'm going to position my playhead over here. And then I'm going to right click on that. And I'll say remove frame 14 to 40. So my beginning point is basically just going to be this animation. That's the only thing he's going to do when jumping. So it's going to prepare for jumping. I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to go back to this jump. I'm going to say Control D to duplicate. That's still in the Unreal Engine 4 mindset. This is going to be my jump loop. So jump loop. And I'm going to open that. Remember that I removed from 0 to 13. So I'm going to position my playhead to 14. And I'm going to right click and say remove from 0 to 14. I mean, I chopped in one extra, but that's okay. And he is going to be doing this falling until frame 19 at this point. So there and then 19. Okay, so what I'm going to do is remove 19 forward. So remove 22, 26, and then this is the loop that he's going to do. Now it looks really weird because the last frame is already included. So, let's do remove 17, 18, and 20. So that is still going to be doing that movement. And the reason is it's gonna try to go all the way down to that. So at the end, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to remove my, or add an interpolation loop at the end. So I'm gonna do a asset, add looping interpolation, and ask me that it's not going to let me transition fine. It's doing that 17. So let me remove that. And there you go. So, and then after the fact, just making sure that I don't have the very last frame, I'm going to say edit, asset, and once again, add looping interpolation. Once again, it's gonna ask me, it's gonna warn me, and I'm gonna hit play. There you go. It's a little bit more smooth. So I'm gonna save that. And then I'm going to make the final one, Control D, and this is gonna be jump end. Now open that, beautiful. And then I'm going to say, I'm going to stop jumping from 34 forward. So 33, 34 forward is fine. I'm gonna say remove from 0 to 33. And now it's landing. Okay, so I'm gonna hit save. And now it's time to modify the state machine. So I'm going to go back down to jump and to an MVP Freddy. And in here, I will go to my default state machine. I'm going to be adding two more states. So first one is going to be add state. And this one is going to be begin jump. I'm going to add another one here. And this one is going to be add state, jump, loop. And I'm going to take one pin out to another state. And this one is end, jump. Or if you want to keep names consistent, jump end. And then I can rename this one like so. Jump, gonna call that jump start. So jump start, jump loop, jump end. Perfect. Now I'm gonna go as I did in the other one. I'm gonna go to start and I'm going to take that start jump and append it here. Going back, jump loop. I'm going to take that loop and connect it here. And I'm going to go jump end and connect it here. Now I have all the states, but I don't have any transitions between the states. So I'm going to double click on this one, and my condition is going to be is falling. So is falling. If it's falling, then you can enter the transition. This is your condition, right? So you're walking, running, whatever, but then are you falling? And it's going to be considered falling once you start jumping. So yeah, I'm falling. Okay, fine. The same goes for jump end, right? Between jump and jump end, is it falling? But now the condition is it is not. So let's negate that with a boolean, not boolean, and then I'm gonna plug it in. So if I'm no longer falling, that's it. But how do I play with this one, right? So these, I want to play the animation at least once before I transition to the next one. So what I'm going to say is remaining ratio. But for that ratio to work, I need the actual state animation, and that's why I need to add the animations first. So that's why time remaining ratio, jump start, cannot plug this here directly because there's no transition between float and double. But what I can do is less. So if it's less than 0.1, meaning that the remaining ratio is less than 10%, I should enter the transition, and the same goes with this one. Get remaining ratio did add animation, right? Because otherwise it's not gonna happen. Yeah, jump end, time remaining. I don't know why I didn't see it the first time, but there you go. Same idea. Less. So if it's less than 0.1. Another thing that I forgot to add on this one is in jump end. I don't want this animation to loop. I only want to have that once. So do not loop this animation. This animation, of course, needs to loop because that is the loop for the jump. But this one, I also don't want to have that enabled. So I'm going to compile and save it. Let's try it. So I'm here. I jump, and I have that animation. Now it's doing that because the jump state, the animation for jump is too slow, right? The animation was created when for a character that wanted that animation was made for an animated film. It wasn't really created for a character. A character is going to be way faster. So if you want to make your animation look better, you have to rewind. You have to make it look like doing all of the action before it does the action. So everything that you do with that anticipation is key for the animation. But in a game, you don't want to have Mario winding down and jumping up just to show the effect. So in this case, what I want to do is go back to the third person character. So go back, sorry, animation blueprint, go back down to the default jump start. And then jump start, I want to make sure that it's not looping, and I'm gonna play it a little bit faster. So play rate is 1. I'm gonna say play rate is going to be 2. It's gonna be a little bit faster. Then jump loop, I wanna make this one slower. So play rate is going to be 0.7. And jump end, that animation, jump end is going to not loop, but also play faster. So play rate is going to be 2. Just to double check, I have everything in place. Sure. It's falling, perfect. Time remaining ratio for jump start. It's no longer falling. Time remaining ratio for jump end. Perfect. All right, so compile, save, and let's try that again. I might need to play with the values, but it's doing better. Now that is still a hiccup. Okay, so after a few minutes of struggling, trying to figure out what the issue was, I mean, my animation is totally fine. This is the way that I've been doing this since Unreal Engine 4.15, I think, cutting out the animation, but I still have this hiccup. You see, I even made a RAM so I could make it larger. It seems to be a bug within Unreal Engine 5. I can really explain what's going on in a different way. What's the best of my interpretation right here would be if you take a look at the animation loop that we have. So we have the animation, right? The animation starts here, do this jump, and then just finishes. So everything is as it's supposed to. But if I trim this down as I showed you earlier, I'm gonna remove from let's say 15 to 40. Do you see where my playhead is? At the very beginning. If I go all the way to the very end, it is gonna go back down. See, it's doing a compensation to do an interpolation loop. And this is a feature that is known inside of Unreal Engine, which is really good. That's going to make me do cycles. So if I go to Asset and add interpolation loop, so that at the end, it's really nice because it's going to let me do that. But it is manually forcing this to be an interpolation loop, and I don't want that, right? Because I want to have my animation end here in 14. So if I do that again, if I say delete 15 to 16, and I do the whole thing again, so it's doing the interpolation up and boom, going down. This is wrong, right? I want to finish animation, let's say on 13 on the top. So I'm gonna go down to 12, trim this down to 13, and then it was on the top, right? Remember it was on the top on 12. Well, it's going down once again. Okay, I don't want that. Let's do that at 11. Do that, remove 12 to 13, and it doesn't matter how short I trim it, it's always going down. So it's doing that interpolation on its own. For now, I'll just let it be. For your assignment, you can leave it like that. Once I have reached a forum in which I get the right answers on how they updated these in the Real Engine 5, then I'll get back to you guys. For now, if that hiccup is there on your animation, I'm totally fine with that. So if I do that, I'm gonna do a new, actually I already have the second jump, and so I'm gonna start with by changing that. So I'm gonna go back down to my jump start, and inside of jump start, I'll just reconnect jump start, the first one that I made, and I'm gonna make sure that it's not looping and the play rate is 2, so that should be fine. Then I go down here. This is important because I'm using the remaining ratio of the animation. So if I change animation, the animation remaining ratio is gonna change. So once again, ratio, and then use time remaining ratio. And this is going to be less than 10. Make sure that loop is looping and the other ones are not looping. So you are not looping and you are not looping. Okay, so compile, save, play, and if everything went right, it is going to walk around the world. It's going to be able to jump. It's going to do that weird hiccup here. See, it's lowering the hands. And that used to be a really nice way of just trimming the animations down. So I don't know what's going on with this new workflow that they're implementing in Unreal Engine 5. Once again, once I have a better solution, I will be reaching out to you guys. But for now, this is totally fine. I have my character is looking around, is jumping. It's weird, but not totally terrible. It's doing that thing with the hands, but it is just the way it is. It's just the fact is I trim in the frames. I can really easily fix that if I go to Maya and say just export from 0 to 15 and then to 15 to 35 and then 35 to 40, and then that's going to be my 3 cycles. I just wanted to show you how to do that inside of the Unreal Engine. Now if you really want to fix it that way, go ahead. It's going to look better than the thing that I did here, but at the same time, exporting shouldn't really be the only way to go. This is totally a thing. Like if you try this code and open trim the animation instead of Unreal 4.27, this would work immediately. So I don't know. I'm gonna reach out to the community to see how they fix that and why they changed it the way that trimming behaves. Now that is adding that interpolation loop at the end by default. Um, but yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Everything should be in here. What is missing is going to be cleaning up the solution. So for that, first off, I'm gonna file and I will say save all. And I will show you how to package the project without cleaning it. So I'm gonna go to File, Zip Project, Zip Project, and I will just put that on my desktop. So I will call that beautiful the dirt. That's a dirty. Um, and as I have the same folder in here, I need to throw in the extension. That's a Windows thing. So throw in the extension, and it's going to start zipping it up. Once that thing is zipped up, I will continue the recording because it's going to take a hot minute to do that, see zipping up the project and whatnot. But I still have a lot of things that I don't really care for, and they are going to make my file at least 100 megabytes larger. So I'm going to be doing another video on how to clean it up. Once you have a cleanup project, you should be able to just use it, right? So, oh, it's actually done. It was apparently a quick video, a quick project to zip up, but this one is going to be, let's do a properties tab, 344 megabytes, which is quite a lot. So I'm pretty sure I can trim this down by removing some things that we are not using inside of the editor. Mainly if I go to content and then characters, this folder I can pretty much remove. I'm gonna say show in Explorer. And now in Explorer, if I take these characters and see the properties, this is pretty much the bulk size of what these assets are. And it's not a lot that I have to remove, but there's a lot of materials and textures that are really large. See, this one is like 5 megabytes, and there's a bunch of them that I don't really use. I don't use anything inside of that that folder. Textures, there you go. See, take a look at all of that things. So I will be showing you how to clean up the solution in a future video. I want that to have that as a separate one. But once you have cleaned it up, then it is basically going to be the same thing. Zip project, and you should be fine. So I'll take a look at that in the next video.